The thirst she could not hide. The sun was merciless that afternoon. It pressed against her skin like judgment. Most women came to Jacob's well in the cool of the morning, laughing, balancing clay pots on their hips, whispering about husbands and children. But she came at noon alone. Because shame prefers the heat. It hides in silence, and it walks by itself. She adjusted her veil and looked around. No one. Good. The well stood ancient and patient, carved deep into the earth by hands long gone. It had seen generations drink, argue, love, betray. It had heard secrets. But today, it would witness something heaven had planned. As she approached, she froze. A man sat there, a Jew. Her breath caught. Jews did not pass through Samaria unless they had to, and when they did not speak to women like her. Yet he remained seated, calm, as though he had been waiting. Because he left Judea and departed again into Galilee, and he must needs go through Samaria. Must. Not geographically necessary, but spiritually unavoidable. He had crossed boundaries before: storms, demons, sickness, but this time, he crossed prejudice, history, religion, and reputation. She tried to ignore him, lowered her bucket. The rope creaked as it descended into darkness. Then his voice broke the silence. "Give me to drink." Her heart slammed against her ribs. How dare he speak to her? How dare he not look disgusted? She turned slowly. "How is it that thou, being a Jew, askest drink of me, which am a woman of Samaria?" Her voice carried years of bitterness. He looked at her, not at her clothes, not at her past, not at the invisible label stitched into her identity. At her. "If thou knewest the gift of God, and who it is that saith to thee, Give me to drink, thou wouldest have asked of him, and he would have given thee living water." Living water. She laughed lightly, masking the ache. "Sir, thou hast nothing to draw with, and the well is deep." Deep. Like her disappointments. Deep like the nights she cried into silence. Deep like the marriages that had collapsed like broken pottery at her feet. "Whosoever drinketh of this water shall thirst again," he said gently. "But whosoever drinketh of the water that I shall give him shall never thirst." Never thirst. She had been thirsty her whole life. Thirsty for love. Thirsty for stability. Thirsty for belonging. 5 husbands. 5 attempts to quench something she couldn't name. "And he whom thou now hast is not thy husband." The words landed softly, yet they pierced. He knew, and yet he stayed. No stone in his hand, no condemnation in his tone, only truth. She straightened. "Sir, I receive that thou art a prophet." She shifted the conversation to religion, safer ground, mountains, worship, traditions. But he gently redirected her again. "God is a spirit, and they that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth. Not on this mountain, not in Jerusalem, not in performance, but in truth." And for the first time in years, she felt seen without being shamed. Her voice trembled now. "I know that Messiah cometh. When he is come, he will tell us all things." He leaned forward slightly. "I that speak unto thee am he." The world seemed to pause. The sun burned. The well waited. The wind stilled. Messiah, not in Jerusalem, not before kings, not to the religious elite, but to a broken woman at noon. Her bucket slipped from her hands. The very reason she came to draw water was forgotten, because she had found the source. And the woman then left her water pot and went her way into the city. She left what she came for. When living water touches you, old thirst loses its power. She ran through streets she once avoided. "Come, see a man, which told me all things that ever I did. Is not this the Christ?" The same voice once whispered about in scandal now proclaimed salvation. The town listened. The town came. And many of the Samaritans of that city believed on him for the saying of the woman. Her shame became her sermon. Her past became her platform. Her thirst became her testimony. Some say the well still exists today, but the greater well is the moment. The place where Jesus waits for thirsty souls. Perhaps you too have been drawing water at noon, hiding, carrying secrets, trying relationship after relationship, success after success, achievement after achievement, yet still thirsty. He is still saying, "Give me to drink," not because he needs you, but because he wants to offer you living water. So, What well have you been running to? If Jesus sat beside you today, knowing everything about you, would you run away? Or would you drop your water pot and run toward the purpose He has for you? Discover the living water. Find your true purpose. You don't have to be thirsty any longer.